What's up, everyone? How you guys and gals doing? Welcome to the show. Don't forget, get your jiggy on 24/7 at motorcyclemadhouse.com. Today, we're going to be talking about a little something here about why I think clubs ain't getting along. We're going to continue the discussion we had last week, why they need to get along. And right now, I'm educating myself on them Australia bikey laws and if the federal government here in the United States had any hand in helping to mold them. So with that in mind, and yes, we're going to be covering a little news today. I was sitting here thinking, it's 2023 and a lot of people say it's time to evolve. And then this one comment in my comment section of, I believe it was Spotify or something, the guy said dominant clubs need to get off their high horse. Now, a lot of times I'll look at comments and trying to analyze what they're trying to tell me. And that one stuck out to me. I don't know why it did, but it did. But here's the thing, and I've noticed this when I'm doing some of the news. A lot of the incidences you're seeing doesn't even involve a dominant. Now, I'm not saying it isn't, but I'm just saying lately, a lot of people have seen clubs that they might not have recognized. And I step back and I say to myself, why is that? Why is that there's a lot of newer clubs that a lot of people haven't known now in the news? And after going back into some of these articles and studying them, I noticed the trend. A lot of these new clubs, they're not into being told what to do. And isn't that speaking of the generation that we're really in? People don't want to be told what to do. The traditions that many of us uphold as the best thing for the scene is no longer. And that's hard to say because I respect tradition. I like the tradition. But the problem is times are changing. And what's that old adage? If dinosaurs would have evolved, they would have survived. And that's the same thing with the club scene. You got to evolve with the times, especially when you're facing a more hostile government in the United States. It's already hostile over in Australia. It's hostile over in Europe, especially the Nordic states and Germany. But you have to say to yourself, why? I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie. The 80s were bad, 90s were bad, and a lot of bad stuff was popping off with clubs. So is it the reputations that happened decades ago that are keeping the cops on everybody? I don't know. That's a question maybe you need to answer for yourselves. But one thing I have seen is these newer clubs basically thumbing their nose at tradition. And that's where you get a lot of definitions or words of patch policing that come in and the attitude, you're not telling me what to do. And the reason why it's different now is because a lot of these guys coming in never were around MCs, never around bikers. They're coming straight off the streets. So they're taking that attitude with them into clubs now. And you do have a lot of clubs that their old timers are being pushed out by these newer guys. And with that comes a new ideology with them. That's why you might be seeing problems down in Texas or in California on the East Coast. And we've talked about it last week, the gangbanger mentality. So you have to say to yourself, how do clubs combat that mentality? And I'm sorry to say, I think it's going to be too hard. I think trying to control that type of membership is a lost cause. Because like I said, they come in, they have the numbers, they have the votes, and they push out the older guys who would try to tell them, no, that's not the way to do things. Drive-by shootings within the club scene have been more prevalent than before. And yes, it happened in the past, but not like it is happening to today. And you have a lot of other clubs, the smaller ones, standing up to dominance saying, no, that ain't happening. We don't care how long you've been around. We're not going to, conform to the way you want us to conform to. We're doing our own thing. So what is a dominant to do? And a lot of their names are really brought up a lot by people on the internet, especially in our comments section. And the funniest one is, well, this dominant club has to do something about them. The person saying this ain't even in a damn club, but they're trying to say somebody else needs to do something, like they got any skin in the game. But when you step back and look at that, there's not much that can be done. Not with technology nowadays. There's no damn way that you're going to want to risk a member or any of that, either the death or the jail cell, because somebody said, nope, ain't going to deal with it. Ain't going to deal with it. And that's a very good point, because you're seeing a lot of dominant clubs say, you know what? No. I see a lot of dominant clubs where they're not even wearing their patches hardly anymore. But not to get off topic here, I sat back and I'm not throwing BD under the bus or anything. I'm just asking myself, is protocol now becoming obsolete with the new people that are coming into the scene? And it sure to hell looks like it. It sure to hell looks like people are saying, screw protocol, chuck out tradition. We don't want it anymore. Is that saying that the scene's evolving? Who knows? Only those younger kids are going to know what I'm talking about. They're going to say to themselves, yeah, Hollywood's right. We don't want to be pushed around anymore. And what is going to be done about that? Nothing, because they got a lot of street level guys now in these clubs that are going to fight back. So maybe that's something that the bigger clubs might think about. That way they're not in the news as much, because anything that goes down, they're the ones that are always getting blamed for it. Just my thoughts on that one. Let's go to some news right here. New Kensington officials deny motorcycle club's request for a new clubhouse. Zoning will always get you, is what I can tell you. A motorcycle club that sought to use a residential zone in New Kensington property and its new clubhouse, or as its new clubhouse, will have to find a new hub. That's one thing that I can tell you right off the bat, that most of these cities and stuff are not going to want a clubhouse in a residential area. That's why you see a lot of them in commercially or industrial zone type of places. And just by the way they voted, it was a 3-0. They denied it right away for a conditional use. And Councilman Ted and Timothy were absent. And I guess there was an hour-long public hearing before the vote, and the council heard from about a dozen residents against the approval and about a half dozen in support. So it sounds like a 12-6 type of deal. And the main objection, it looks like, was concerns from the motorcycles. but you know what really is behind that, and they just don't want to say it. And there was not one deciding factor, according to the guy. It's not about the people in the motorcycle club. It's not about the group. Whatever happens to that building has to go through the correct process. It's funny, even in this country where you think you own property or any of that type of stuff, you really don't. It's all up to the government to give you a go-ahead in that one. So what do you guys think? Give me your thoughts in the comments section about, we're going to trail around on this issue and see if clubs can really get along. We're going to trail around, and, I think it's going to be educational for you. It's definitely educational on me, what I've been reading about these bikey laws and stuff. Anyway, let's go to the second half of the show right now. We'll be right back. And don't forget, motorcyclemadhouse.com. It's on 24/7 a day.